How you guys doing today? Look, I love science. I really do. I I really like science. Since little, I used to walk around and just look at things and try to drive ideas of how things worked. I think science today is very biased, and they only show you one way to look at science. Today, I want to discuss something that for me is impossible, but you'll share with me if you don't believe me. It's the obviously the theory of evolution, which I don't think it's science, but apparently a lot of theorists, agree that evolution is actually science. I don't think so, but you'll see with me. You see, it's very strange that you know we only have 4% of matter in the universe, which is composed of the resting 96%, which is dark matter and dark energy. Interestingly, you know, what are the chances and probabilities of getting, quote, 5,000 amino acids, which are molecules, the size of less from 1 to 100 nanometers, which is a billionth of a meter, 5,000 of 1 billionth of a meter getting together as one protein, which is again from 1 to 100 nanometers, a billionth of a meter, together in a space of 156 billion light years away. Yeah, you heard me right. 156 billion light years away. And it's just not a line. That's not like 156 billion light years away as a line. No, it's 156 billion light years at the power of the third dimension. If there's a fourth, at the power of the fourth. But apparently right now we have a third. We only have 3 dimensions. That's what science says. So 156 billion light years of distance at the power of the third dimension, which means that it can go either way. It's a third dimension, and you need 5,000 amino acids, which, by the way, there's essential and non-essential amino acids, which are 13 of each, and they need to be together to form one single protein in a universe which is only 4% matter, and and anyway, I'll continue with it. It's so small that all these things would get together as one protein, but it has to happen at least 200 times to form the first living organism, which is a living cell. So you need 5,000 amino acids to get together in a space of 560 billion light years away at the power of the third dimension, which is, I can't even understand how big this is, to form one single protein. And you need this process to happen 200 times to form the first living cell in a universe which is only 4% made of matter. So chances are incredibly small to not be impossible at this point. But let's say it works. It's not mathematical, but let's say it works. Now, you have this first living cell, which, by the way, when all the proteins get together, and that distance that I just covered, they need to work. It's not they just get together. They need to work. When you put a calculator, it needs to work. You need a source. So if you put too much energy on them, perhaps the living cell will not work. If you don't put too much energy on it, then perhaps it won't work. Also, you have to cover the distance of the cell in a third dimensional range and make all the 200 different proteins work as in a factory, because that's what a cell looks like. If you look, it looks like a nanofactory. So they all have to work. And what are the chances and probabilities that all these things would work consequently and still be able to multiply the cell, which is another possibility of chances and mechanisms. Now, obviously, the cell has to work. It's going to face a lot of weather conditions. It's going to face the cell could be, for example, in a tornado, right? Or it could be right next to a volcano, so it might kill the cell. So if we just got one cell out of all these possibilities, because I think it's neither inimaginable that we'll get two out of what I just explained right now, the distance of the universe, and how small these amino acids are, that it will work. The two will work. So we just have to get one, because if you have the math to prove the other one, I want you to show me, because it doesn't fit the categories of this universe, which is expanding, by the way. It's not infinite. Expanding things are not infinite. Then we have the first cell. It has to work. Then it goes to the first process. So I'll call the first process A. And there's the possibilities of A of working are smaller than the possibilities of not working. So the possibilities of not working are much higher than the possibilities it's going to work. And it has to go to the next level, which is B. So at level B, it still has to work, and there's another chance for that. What are the chances that it won't work? They're huge, but it still has to work. Then we still go to C. We go A, B, C, D, E, F, and we continue all the way. They all have to work. All these different scales, A, B, and C, are chances of their own, and they still have to work. So if that wasn't enough, you still need all these little changes or random mutations to work, because it has to. Till we get to, I don't know how we got here, but we're going to get to X. So we started with A, which was a single cell, and we get all the way to X, which is a moth. To form a moth, you need a DNA sequence hundreds of millions of units long. I don't know if you know how complex the DNA sequence is, but if you just understood how complex this sequence is, if you have a mind and if you really like science, and all these sequences are perfectly in order, so each sequence perfectly in order is a chance of its own, and you need to equilibrate that and make it work for just one chain of DNA for the whole string to work. Obviously, the moth, it needs to be a happy moth. You know, you just can't get, it has to mutate properly. And obviously, if there's more consecutive mechanisms working at the same time, it's not just the moth, but you need other sequences to happen and work and work and work. And it takes, I mean, mathematically, this is impossible. In physics, there's no physics for this, because this is impossible. Now, I'll tell you what's more possible than this, though. I'll tell you, and you're going to laugh with me, because I think it's funny. I'm going to get my laptop, and I'm going to shatter it, because, as you should know, the laptop is more easily to build than something like me. So I'm going to shatter my laptop into pieces, which are dust, and I'm going to get that dust, put it inside a tornado. I'm going to put inside 100 billion tornadoes, and those shattered pieces that I put, which are dust, have to build a laptop. At least a calculator, just a little calculator. It will not happen. That's impossible. It's like me winning the lottery every day, every ticket I bought, winning the lottery till the end of my life. No, it will be like a million years every day winning the lottery, because that's the amount of changes that happen. So I would have to win the lottery all the time and not fail. And it just doesn't work. So you need all these things to work in sequence. So you need all these chances to happen, and all these different chances have to work as one unit. Open your mind, please. It's okay if you don't want to believe in God. It's okay. You don't want to believe in God? That's all right. But please, find a better theory than this. Because it's easy to contradict this. What's not easy is for this to happen. So, theory of evolution, it's not science. It's not. I'm sorry.